What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is Blinkers Off. What's up, my man?
What's up, Jared? What's up, everybody? It's good to be back, man. It's exciting. It's a big week coming up at Woodbine. One of my favorite weekends of the year, the Woodbine Mile. Sneaky, good race. And then those 2-year-old races on Sunday. So a lot of Breeders' Cup implications. I know Magic's been busy writing previews, and he'll be busy right this weekend writing recaps. It's kind of good to see those Breeders' Cup races really going, getting going in full swing. So a lot to look forward to. We kind of transition into the fall.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of weird because we are sort of still in Preakness season, I guess, but we also are very much in Breeders' Cup season. We're hitting that last less than a month now of preps. The last preps October 10th. So we just going to run through these really quick. These last couple of weeks, and then the Breeders' Cup's here. It's just unbelievable to even think that we're in Breeders' Cup season already. But yeah, you have 3 Breeders' Cup win events this weekend at Woodbine, one on Saturday at the Woodbine Mile, and the 2 juvenile races, turf races on Sunday, which are, like you said, are always really fun to watch and that produced some, War of Will, by the way, was produced out of that last year's juvenile race, which of course is running the Woodbine Mile. So yeah, I mean, it does produce horses. I guess that was that last year? That'd have been 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So as a 2-year-old. So yeah, then he went on to win the Preakness. So yeah, I mean, that's another thing about these 2-year-old races. You just never know whether they're on the turf right now. You don't know. I mean, we might see some of these horses enter the, Derby trail mix as we move, of course, into that. Seems like before long, right?
Right. That's right.
Somehow. But yeah, so obviously big show, we're kind of in that middle grounds here right before the Preakness. So the Breeders' Cup is nice to fill that void. But, let's talk a little bit about some of the Breeders' Cup kind of preps and just in general with Kentucky Downs that just ended. Set I think it was like 60 million. I think they did in handle for the meet this year, which was definitely a record. Just unbelievable. It seems like it just gets better and better every year. Of course, they had a couple Breeders' Cup races there. But more than that, a lot of these horses are obviously gearing up towards the Breeders' Cup. So I kind of thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about a little bit what you saw at Kentucky Downs, anything that stuck out. Mm-hmm. And also, I think you and I have talked a little bit about this off air, how important it is to kind of take what you see from Kentucky Downs and be like, yeah, that's great. That was impressive, but don't put too much stock into it as we move forward to the Breeders' Cup.
Really, the races at Kentucky Downs are fairly meaningless as far as moving forward because it's just such a weird track. And some horses just love that track and some don't. Now, that's not to say that the winners of Kentucky Downs just throw them out. I'm just saying if you look at their pattern and you see that at Kentucky Downs, they run better than anywhere else, probably just because they like the track. So don't go crazy about that. But I do think we saw a horse that might win a Breeders' Cup race at Kentucky Downs, and that was in Primus. I thought he was super impressive. And the good thing about him is we've seen him win at all different kinds of tracks, including Keeneland, where the Breeders' Cup's going to be. So for me, that's the one that's like, okay, he's got a shot to maybe go on and win a Breeders' Cup race. Like, he looked like a pretty nice horse. And then obviously seeing Got Stormy come back and win, I was really happy to see that, and it was a powerful performance. I think there were some people really questioning 6.5 furlongs for this and that. I thought she was awesome. And then the Wesley Ward trained Outador. I thought that horse was really powerful. winning that race as well. So those were the three that, if 3 stars of the meet, so to speak, for me. But yeah, in premise, he's the one that I think could come out of it and maybe win a Breeders' Cup race.
A couple horses I want to ask you about, just because they are big time horses, and one won, one did not. What you do moving forward, if anything. So Got Stormy obviously came back, finally kind of got back to her form that we're used to seeing, cut back in distance. Sounds like they're going to stick with that idea. How dangerous do you think she is moving forward at kind of cutting back now?
She looked much, much better than she had looked in her previous races. So it's one of those things. I kind of want to see another race from her. Hopefully we get that on a normal surface, like a normal track, normal configuration. But she looked pretty awesome to me. Like, that was a big takeaway. Like, I thought she would win the race, picked her to win the race after Kamari scratched. And it's like, okay, I'm going to pick her, but I'm not expecting big things. That was never in doubt. So I think you got to take her serious going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we know the back clutch she has, and I think the idea, like, she doesn't want a mile. Like, I think she's good. I mean, I think she showed that she can try at a mile, but cutting back has really made her a different horse, I feel like. The other big one, I feel like, is this horse is legit especially in the past. I mean, Zulu Alpha, a horse that got beat by Arklow in the Kentucky Turf Cup. That is a good example of a horse that you don't take too much away from what you saw, based on, because he was clear he did not really care for the track, kind of had trouble grabbing the track a little bit. But is that something that you're like, hey, I don't even care, like, that horse, like, that just gives me more value moving forward? Like, I still think that horse is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing about when that race happened, it was just a downpour. And to start the day, it looked like Kentucky Downs hadn't mowed that turf course in like 2 weeks, and then it rained, and it's like they're running through like wet weeds out there. This is really bad. All credit to horses that were able to win on that surface. I mean, that takes, I would say, some heart, to just go out there and say, okay, I don't care what the track's like, I'm going to gut it out. So all credit to that. But yeah, I'm not holding anything against, a horse that maybe just ran okay over that. And that was Zulu Alpha. I mean, didn't run bad, but just an okay race. And yeah, I draw a line through it.
Yeah, honestly, it's a tricky thing, because like you say, you don't want to throw out the performances you see from, like, say, an Arklow, but then you also have to assume other factors that go into Kentucky Downs. I had read some quotes from Brad Cox about how he had trained really hard on Arklow for this race. That was the goal. The goal was this race. Whereas we know Zulu Alpha, that was not the goal. That the goal is here in next couple months at the Breeders' Cup. So you got to kind of keep those things in mind too. The horses that, like you said earlier, horse for course, or just where they really do well, or they really were trying to peak them right there, because they know Arklow's not going to have any shot to win a Breeders' Cup race. But hey, we can go steal a 500,000. I guess that was it $1 million race? So it's like, hey, why don't we go steal that? So that, to me, you kind of have to keep those points in mind too when you're talking about how you look at a race moving forward. I would be very careful about playing Arklow back. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And really, Kentucky Downs is really set up for the bettors more than anything else. It gives you a little one or 2 week meet where the takeout's pretty low, and you're going to get some crazy results. You got to keep your head about you. You're going to miss a lot, but then when you hit, it's a big time score to make up for those that you've missed. So you can't get too down on yourself. But again, like you said, you talk about, Arklow, Zulu Alpha, all these horses. Again, you have to take it with a grain of salt as far as projecting what happens in their next race. Do I think Arklow and Zulu Alpha, if they meet up again, do I think Arklow is going to win that race? No, not necessarily. So it's just different. It's different. I said it to you, I think, earlier in this week. It's just kind of fun because horse racing, it's a lot of monotony, a lot of just the same stuff over and over and over. And then you get to Kentucky Downs, and it's totally different. Watching it is a different experience. Betting on it's different. So it's just nice to kind of break up that monotonous feel of racing as we go, week by week.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. I mean, I definitely don't mean anything bad about it. I love Kentucky Downs is so much fun to watch. It's one of my favorite meets all year because it is just something completely different that we don't get to see anywhere else. All right, before we move on to the rest of the show, and of course, lots of Breeders' Cup action. We are getting closer here to the Preakness, and all of a sudden, this thing is turning into be quite. It's kind of lining up to be, like we talked about, one of the better Triple Crown races. It's very much probably will be the best Triple Crown race at this point. Now all of a sudden, Swiss Skydiver's back in the mix. If they say it's almost like Tiz the Law. If he's like he doesn't come, Swiss Skydiver might come now. So all of a sudden, apparently they're still very much afraid of Tiz the Law. Swiss Skydiver's back in the mix. Mystic Guide, Happy Savory, My Traffic, Dr. Post, All Possible, 1,000 Words, Authentic, Art Collector, Mr. Big News, All Probable, as well as Pneumatic. So I mean, if you're sitting there getting Authentic, Art Collector, and Swiss Skydiver, I mean, shit, that's great.
Oh, it's going to be the best one yet. As long as Tiz the Law and Authentic show up, it'll be the best one yet of the three of the Triple Crown races. And Swiss Skydiver, she definitely throws an added intrigue into the race for sure. I'm a little surprised by that news. If they wanted to run her, I don't know why. Like the Black Eyed Susan would probably be a better race, I think. Just because I think we saw that, she's probably not at that level of Tiz the Law and Authentic for sure. She's already been defeated by Art Collector. So it's like, it's like fourth the best you're going to do in that race, I don't know. I thought it was interesting that they mentioned that for her. But at the same time, I would like for her to run for just for the storylines, But you're right. It's going to be a good race. And who knows who to pick here with this Authentic Tiz the Law. That's going to be a big time decision to be made. Do we take what happened in the Derby as the gospel, or do we take what's happened, all earlier in the season and take Tiz the Law again, or do you play the upsetter? And I think with Art Collector in the race, you at least have that option, a viable third option if you want to take it. So, there's a lot to look forward to with the Preakness. It's a 12 races, all stakes card on Saturday. Yeah. That in itself is very exciting. Every multi-race sequence is going to involve all stakes, obviously. So that's cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm very pumped about the I think it's gonna be a huge day. That day is going to be, the Black Eye season obviously is shifted over to that day as well. So it's just all on one day, massive card. We're gonna have a guide for it, of course, and your work's cut out for you, buddy. It's definitely, aside from the Breeders' Cup, the most stakes races you'll cover. Yeah. For one guide, of course, stakes analysis for every single one of them. So yeah, you got your work cut out for that one, buddy. But no, I mean, it makes it fun, definitely. And I even asked him, I was like, hey, there's one Arabian race. I was like, yep. Well, we just won't do that. And you're like, no, let's do it, man. I'm like, really? Yeah, no, let's do it. So yeah, that's the dedication this guy's got, guys. I'll know all the horses in that Arabian race. I guarantee it. They run on the fair circuit in California. They run at Delaware, and they'll run a little bit down in Texas too. So this isn't the first Arabian race or the last that I'll handicap. I promise you that much. I don't know if that's impressive or sad, but anyways, all right. What's the best things on the day? It's week 2 of the NFL tonight, and my Browns are playing, so that's good. But overall, I think, I'm not going to say the best thing I saw of the Browns. They're usually not. But it's week 2 in the NFL, and we have no cancellations yet. And I think that's got to be the best thing I've seen. College games, they seem, some of them are canceling. But NFL, we're all on go for week 2. So it's good. It's good to see. We survived week 1, and now we're on to week 2. They did say that there was a fan at the Arrowhead game, the Chiefs game at Arrowhead, that tested positive. I mean, it's not surprising, but it's not funny. I don't want to make light of it, but there's basically like there's zero talk about any cancellations. It's like, here's what we're going to do to try to fix this, or that we took all the precautions. They did do like a major. Where this guy was, who he was around, and we tried to get all that figured out to try to limit the exposure. But there was no talk of, I think, is it in the game tonight, the Browns game? Aren't they having fans? Yeah, limited capacity. I got it on right now, and it's there's not a ton, but there are people there.
Well, that's probably about a normal game for the Browns anyway, so it's not,
right.
not like it matters too much. Now, see, best thing I saw, I mean, obviously I could go with the easy answer. Chiefs win. 1-0, top of the power rankings, of course. Just pretty much picked up where they left off. Just kind of messed around, seems like, with Houston most of that game last week. So that was good to see them kind of back in form already. No real issues there. Obviously, they come back this week on Sunday with the Chargers. I mean, should be another win, I would think. But best thing I saw today has to be, this is like, I've already told you this story, but don't need anybody to report me to like social services. But sometimes when your kid watches a show, one of your favorite shows, you become very proud. And usually it's like, I've been through this with like The Sandlot, Jurassic Park, things of that nature that, shows, movies that you and I grew up with, that they watch it all of a sudden and you're like, this is awesome. He loves it and we could watch it together. Well, today was a different one. It was Step Brothers. I'm not exactly proud about it, but I am a little. It was one of those things that kids were just going crazy today, and I just was flipping around, and because you and I just got YouTube TV, and it was the first thing on, so I just clicked on it, and then I look in there, and the boys are just like glued to the TV, and so I just like, all right, well, that whatever works, right? Any parent knows that, and Cohen comes in, he's watching the show, and I can hear the scene. It's the drum set scene when he's trying to, and he comes in and he goes, "Daddy, that one guy is mean. He touched his drums." I was like, I know, right? Luckily, he did not know what he used to touch his drums, but no, it was a very proud moment for me, So he likes Step Brothers now, so we can watch that together.
That's awesome. I love it.
To be clear, it was on cable. It was like on Comedy Central or something, so it was edited. So I got at least giving myself that credit, but it was pretty good. So yeah, my son watching Step Brothers for the first time has to be my 4-year-old son, by the way. It has to be the best thing I saw today. All right, today's show, we're going to preview Saturday's Ricoh Woodbine Mile Stakes at Woodbine. It's a Breeders' Cup Win Your In Challenge Series event for the FanDuel Mile. Then we're going to give rapid-fire selections from the other stakes action this weekend at Woodbine and Belmont Park, including the Belmont Oaks Invitational Stakes. Let's go!
Oh, Step Brothers.
I couldn't believe he came in and said that. I was just like, yeah, he did. He is bad. He touched his drum.
Yeah, he texted me that earlier, and I'm like, oh God, that's hilarious. That's good stuff.
It's a proud dad moment right there.
That's one of my all-time favorite stupid movies. It's not it's never going to be mistaken for a classic, but just a movie that'll make you laugh.
Oh gosh, all time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Turn it on, you can just get right into the laughing. Just
it's hysterical.
Roundhouse your ass. All right, so we are going to do a little Woodbine Mile action here, a little bit in depth, and then we're going to just have 3 races at Belmont Oaks: the Summer on Sunday and the Natama on Sunday. Those 2 juvenile turf races to do, and that'll be it. Got game time, I know right now, so I might turn that on my phone.
Yep, I've got an eye on the Browns. We'll give you live updates if you're not watching. So,
oh man, I'm gonna turn it on here. Any predictions on tonight's game?
I think they're going to win, but I think it'll be ugly as hell. I'd say 20-17.
20. That's pretty bad.
They did the exact same things they did all of last year in the first game. Miss field goals, turnovers while they're driving, give up big plays, penalties. Just it looked exactly the same. So.
It kind of looks like they have more, like the game at the Arrowhead, they were like a little more, it seemed that way, a little more strategized on like where the fans set,
Mm-hmm.
This kind of looks like they're just kind of scattered.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Cleveland, they're not going to listen to any kind of direction. They're just gonna...
no, they tried. They just couldn't figure it out. So.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'll screw it just to get him in here.
Leave these poor people alone. That's the thing.
Uh-oh.
He's gone.
Oh.
Nope, he's not gone.
This will be fun, though. A little Joe Burrow action versus little Baker action. That'll be good.
I think 2 years ago it would have been fun. I don't know.
I don't know.
The weirdest thing about the Browns is Baker Mayfield in his first year, it's like the loser mentality was lifted, like, of the Browns franchise. Like, they went 7-8-1, which is not great, but that was a 7-game improvement over the year before. And it's like they were close. Like, they were in all the games. They were like fearless. They could have won a couple more. They played great. And now they're just back to being losers. So they do what losers do. So.
Oh, no. Joe Burrow going deep. Oh. They called that a catch?
Yeah, he caught it.
AJ's already hurt. Imagine that.
I was going to say, that'll be his last play of the game. All right. People don't want play-by-play of this. Let's go. Let's do it.
That's a bad call to say he's in. No, he's not in.
He's not. No.
Okay. Are you ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1. Saturday at Woodbine, race 9, the Ricoh Woodbine Mile Stakes, a grade 1 with $1 million for 3-year-olds and up, going 1 mile on the turf. It is a Breeders' Cup win in your event for the FanDuel Mile. Field of 8 lines up for this one. Boy, it's a hell of a field, too. 2-1 on War of Will. We mentioned him earlier. The number 8 horse draws the outside. 5-2 on his stablemate for Mark Cassidy. 5-2 on March to the Arch. So you have that kind of dilemma of which Cassidy to go with there. Obviously, very good at Woodbine, but then you also have Chad Brown bringing in value proposition, the 7 horse at 6-1. Starship Jubilee coming back to Woodbine, very good there, 4-1. The filly, a mare, I guess I should say, and Cheryl Spite, a horse that at one point was going to run like countless, Triple Crown races. I feel like, but is here 8-1. So you kind of have a nice mix of horses that obviously are very good, but also horses that give you some options.
Yeah, this is a hell of a race. It always is. It's always a very good race. It's always exciting. There's a ton of options in here, like you said, and it took him a while for me to figure out who I was going to pick here. I went back to an old friend of mine, and this is, I say a friend now because of what happened last time out, but he's also been a horse that has really pissed me off in the past. But last time out in the King Edward Stakes, which was over this track and at this distance, March to the Arch wins at 7-2, was my top pick and won by over 2 lengths. And the moral of the story for March to the Arch, don't get him stopped. Just keep him in the clear. Do not get him stopped. Every race he gets into traffic trouble. Every damn time I pick him, and it's like, he should have won. And it's like, traffic trouble again. I mean, you look at his running lines, he loses by a head, he loses by a length, he loses by a couple of lengths, and these are big races. It's just like, if you'll just keep him out of trouble, he's got a great shot. And then we saw it last time out. He kept him out of trouble. He had a clear lane, and he just blew by those horses. So I went right back with March to the Arch here. I think the mile is perfect for him. He likes Woodbine, and that's a big factor because this track does play a very different than all the other turf tracks, in my opinion. So him having a win over the surface is great. And, I think 5-2, I'm hoping he's going to float up because War of Will's in the race, and I think he will definitely be the favorite and take the money. And then you got a Chad Brown runner in here. You got Starship Jubilee, like you mentioned, that's going to take money. So I think we're going to get every bit of that 5-2. So I really like March to the Arch here. I think he's going to come right back here and win again.
Yeah, I really, honestly, he's the Cassie horse I like most, to be honest, because, he's 2 for 2 at Woodbine. This distance, he has a couple wins. Obviously ran one of his best career races, definitely, last time out, like you said, here at Woodbine. So I think he's live, and in a race that I feel like is going to be reasonably, quick on the front end. He has a nice closing kick. Like I say, you just don't give him trouble. It is interesting that Hernandez does shift over to War of Will, who he rode last, which obviously very impressive. So Hernandez switches over. Obviously, a lot of the regular riders not coming in, but Hernandez, who did ride March to the Arch last time out, is riding War of Will here who was, is coming in off of that July really impressive win in the Maker's Mile. Ran a career high buyer that day. Plain and simple, doesn't matter the turf or dirt. Career high buyer at 100. So War of Will obviously looms dangerous, but I do feel like he definitely will be the one that takes most of the money. So if I'm looking for value, I kind of like March of the Arch better than I like War of Will, because you do have Admiral Pier. You've got Cheryl Spite that has some speed. Our Mystic Day has some front end speed. So I feel like the pace will be pretty honest. So it should set up for a horse War of Will should set a nice trip too. I think we've seen that my thing with him is how good was the Maker's Mile. I don't know how great that race was in Raging Bull, whatever. But you can't take the fact is he likes Woodbine. He likes his distance. He will be dangerous. I couldn't go past number 7 value proposition though. There's a lot to like here for this Chad Brown horse shipping in. Obviously 6-1 is one big thing to like as well. Coming in off of that third place effort in the poker, you might say, well, that wasn't that great. And I agree. But if you watch that race closely, the horse definitely had a little bit of a steady about the 8th pole down the stretch. And kind of basically at that point, Irad just stopped riding him. So that I'm not going to sit here and say he would have won, but I think it would have been closer. And I don't necessarily think that number would have been as low as it was. He came back off of his long absence since running last year, came back and ran a 100 buyer right off the bat. So you're getting third off the bench here. This horse has been working out like crazy. 2 straight bullets at Saratoga. And Chad Brown, man, you just cannot deny what Chad Brown does with these horses when he brings them in. For instance, like this kind of layoff, he's 25% turf, he's 26% routes, he's 26. I mean, this guy is just clearly unbelievable when he has these horses ready. And he does. And how I feel about when you've got a Chad Brown horse, with Clairvetch and you get some value there. And so I think value proposition is exactly that, a value.
Yeah, I like that horse as well. I hope that 6-1 holds up because I think that is a square price. And I want to go to a horse that you mentioned a couple of times and we haven't really talked about in depth, who's kind of my long shot play in here, and that's Admiral Pier, the 6 horse. You look at this horse at Woodbine this year, 2 starts in grade 2 races, second both times, including second last time out to my top pick, March to the Arch. I mean, if you get 10-1 on this horse, I think that looks awfully, awfully good. And I think that stands to reason that you're going to get 10-1. The horse has been 8-1 in his last 2 races. But you look at Tampa Bay to kick off the season in the Tampa Bay. This horse pulled off an upset at 21-1 and beat March the Arch. That was one of those races where March the Arch got all kinds of trouble, like he does almost every race except for last time out. So this horse is capable of springing upsets. He's a Woodbine veteran. He's been around at Woodbine what seems like forever. At 10-1, I think he's the value play for me. And the one at least I'm going to look that underneath, if not trying to mix him in to the pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s. I just think 10-1 is too good of a price on a horse that consistently runs well over this track. So yeah, he's definitely in play for me. I like your top pick value proposition, and I would say War of Will certainly can win. Probably more of a defensive use for me than on top, though. I really don't want him to beat me, but also I don't really want a favorite of what I think is going to be 7 or 8-5 in here, War of Will. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about the gap in his races too. Where's he been? Like, he won a grade 1 on the turf. He's trained by Mark Cassey, who certainly doesn't save horses. So, he runs them when they're good. So I think that's kind of strange that he's been away for a while.
Yeah, and you talk about a horse that likes Woodbine. Got to talk about the old mare here, Starship Jubilee. Loves Woodbine. 13 starts on Woodbine, 6 wins. At this distance, 8 starts, 5 wins. I mean, this is right up her alley. I mean, perfect. Back home, has been running kind of everywhere, including the last 2 at facing some decent horses. Goes to Saratoga, wins the Ballstone Spa, then goes and faces Rushing Fall, Mean Mary, and Sister Charlie. Heard of them? And gets 4th to those 3 right there. So, she beat Sister Charlie the two back. So I mean, I know Sister Charlie. We've talked about this a lot. That she's maybe not what she was, but she's cutting back to the distance she likes. She's getting back to the track she really is good at. It wouldn't be shocking to see. And she's 4-1. So I mean, I think she's very much a play here.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. I'm skeptical of her. That's kind of the one I'm going to try to beat here. The one I'm going to leave off, which I could come back to bite me, but I kind of think she's a bit overhyped. Okay, she did beat Sister Charlie 2 back, but the next time out she got smoked. I don't really think she was ever going to beat those top 3 horses that day. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a stand against her. Might backfire, but it's an awfully tough spot for Starship Jubilee. I mean, it'd be one thing if she was up against fillies and in a little bit easier spot. This is the Grade 1 Woodbine Mile, toughest race to win at Woodbine all year. I think she might be up against it a little bit Saturday.
Yeah, she's definitely. They're asking a lot from her for sure. I just think that this horse is proven enough to where she's very capable of running consistent races, and you get her back to a track that she likes and get her back to a distance she likes. She could have something to say. But yeah, I mean, I agree that, you're asking a lot, and even, her kind of best numbers kind of match up. Her average numbers usually are about where these a little less than what some of these top horses are. Like your War of Wills and your value proposition, stuff like that. So I do think she's going to be asked to go and has to run something special, but at the same time, I think she's capable of it. I'm not there with you, man. I'm going to have to play her. I'm not going to let her beat me. Yep. And the last horse that I want to mention is, Cheryl Spite, the horse that, a lot of people have been hearing now because a horse that was at one point going to run the Kentucky Derby, and then no, it's going to run the Preakness. And now here we are. It's like the horse never left pretty much, And so now the horse is back on the turf after debuting on the turf, winning by 8, then goes and wins that Grade 3 on the synthetic and wins. But I mean, this horse has only ran 2 races. It's kind of hard to believe. Do you think this horse is like halfway interesting? Like, could he kind of be freaky? We just don't know it yet.
I don't think so. Would be the best way I could answer that.
So confident.
I don't think this is the right spot for him. I wish they would have found a little bit easier spot. I do think he's a pretty good horse, but I don't think he's ready to knock heads with March to the Arch, War of Will, Starship Jubilee even. And this is kind of a dumb statement, but this is a pretty much just as hard to ask as the Kentucky Derby would have been. The only difference is it is on a surface that we know he can perform on well, but these horses are darn good. Like, they're throwing this horse into the deep end of the pool. You talk about going a mile on the turf in North America. These are some of the better ones that you're going to see. So I'm not too confident in his chances.
Well, one thing about him is that I think he's going to have a factor in the race. And what I mean is he's a horse who hasn't ran since the end of July. He's obviously been trying to get geared up for the Kentucky Derby at one point. They've been wanting to run this horse, and he hasn't. He's going to be ready to roll, and he has plenty of front end speed. So he is going to secure plenty of pace in this race, which I think is why I like so much value proposition. And I like your March to the Arch, horses that should be coming late, because I do feel like you're going to have a solid pace to run into. Yeah. And I think Cheryl Spite is one of those horses that's going to secure that. But final thoughts here. Okay, real quickly before we give our last pick, what do you feel? Okay, so this is a win you're in for the FanDuel Mile, and we talked a little bit about it, but I mean, do you think there's several, say War Will wins here? Obviously, he's proven that he's very legit on the turf, especially. Obviously, if Chad Brown wins, we know that horse is automatically a top contender. But is there any horses in here that you think really are legit contenders to win the Breeders' Cup?
I think yes, for sure. Only because, is there a more wide open race right now than the Mile? I mean, who are you picking in the Mile right now? Right? It's wide open. So listen, if you get March to the Arch, gets a clean trip and wins easy, hell yeah, I think he's got a great shot. If War of Will wins this race, who's already won a Grade 1 race, going a mile on the turf where the Breeders' Cup's going to be held, and then he comes up and wins the Woodbine Mile, hell yeah, I think he's got a shot to win. So yeah, I mean, I think we definitely are looking at some contenders here. And then if somebody like Admiralty Pier wins, then maybe we go, well, maybe not. But yeah, if some of these big horses win, even value proposition, Starship Jubilee, Cheryl's Spite, if they win and they look good, I don't see any reason why they're not primetime contenders.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so final pick. I am on value proposition, and what do you got?
I'm going to go March to the Arch.
All right.
I feel like we covered that race very well. I'm very proud of ourselves.
Probably better than we should have, but
Yeah.
I do feel like there's some decent horses in there for sure. Like I do think that a value proposition or War of Will, especially, or even either Cassie and value proposition, especially any of those three win that race, and you're talking about plenty of hype going into the Breeders' Cup for sure. So
yeah. Well, Mark Cassie's success in the mile, a Breeders' Cup mile is really, I think, should be a factor as well. He knows how to win that race.
All right, so Browns offense time. What's Baker gonna do?
Well, probably
check down
a completion. All right,
check down to Landry.
It's a good start though. Question coming in: which European horses do you anticipate running in the Breeders' Cup mile? It's really too early to guess. Come back on the 1st of October and we will have a pretty good idea, but it's a little too early to guess on that. And it totally would be a guess if we tried to answer, but yeah, kind of to piggyback off your question, they're definitely going to be big players in the race because of what we talked about just a minute ago. You just don't have, a lot of American runners that you're really excited about. So yeah, the Europeans are going to have a big factor in that mile this year.
Yeah, I don't know if Breeders' Cup's got anything.
So if you're watching the football game, they've rolled Baker out twice. And that's that is what I heard all off season. We're going to roll him out. We're going to get him out of the pocket. They didn't do that. That is where he's dangerous, is outside the pocket on rollouts. So hopefully they keep that going.
Yeah, they're already on the 40, huh?
He's going to be very dangerous if they can do that successfully, because he's very good out on the edge where he's got the options of kind of, maybe he runs it, maybe he throws it, maybe he checks down. He's pretty good decision maker outside of the pocket. Inside the pocket, he's struggled in the NFL.
Let's get the Circus Maximus. See, legit trying to come here. That would be a nice horse to get over here.
That'd be a big time player. If Circus Maximus comes, that's a big time player for sure. But that's the thing. I don't know how legitimate that is. Yeah, he's listed under like probables, but I don't want to say, yeah, I think he's coming, because we just don't know yet.
Yeah, he won that prep for it or whatever.
Right.
Well, look at them. It's just driving downfield.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the Belmont Oaks. Probably not a Breeders' Cup setting up race, but
no, I wouldn't say. Real quick, if War of Will wins the Woodbine, would you skip the mile and go for the Classic? I would probably go to the mile, but I think the Classic's in play for War of Will. Let's put it that way. I mean, anything's in play with War of Will because he's won on both surface and he's won Classic races on both surfaces. But the mile, I think a mile on the turf definitely is what suits him best.
Seems like after that Makers, it's like, okay, this is like we need to stick with, like, cause he definitely after the Preakness, he definitely struggled to kind of get his form back, and it finally took him to go to the win on that Makers. Get back to turf, and obviously a horse that ran really well on turf as a 2-year-old. So getting him back there, I think, is what it's pretty impressive. If you think about it, this horse is a Grade 1 winner on both surfaces. So
yep.
All right, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Time for Rapid Fire, presented by Racing Dudes Premium. That's for years. Racing Dudes Handicap products have been helping horse players around the world cash more tickets with a full team of professional handicappers. Don't miss your chance to cash in big with the Racing Dudes. Subscribe to Racing Dudes Premium and get our upcoming Preakness Stakes wagering guide absolutely free. Now available on our products page at racingdudes.com. Just last week, we saw a premium user cash a pick 5 costing $96 for over $8,000. All right. We got 3 rapid fire races we're going to talk about. One at Belmont Park on Saturday. Then we're going to go back to Woodbine on Sunday for some 2-year-old racing. Let's go to Belmont Park on Saturday. The Belmont Oaks Invitational. It's race 5. It's a grade 1. We're $250K. It's a fit for Phillies 3-year-olds going 1.25 miles on the turf. And nothing really here to get too excited about, right? You got even money on Magic Attitude, which is a great name. Obviously, I think they named it after Magic. And it's a field of 5. So you get the 2 horse at even money coming in, 8-9-5 on Antoinette, 6-1 on Setting the Mood, 8-1 on Keep Biscani, and Nay Blanche, 5-1, a horse that burned me bad last time. So who wants to actually go 1.25 miles here, and who can get it done?
Well, I went with Magic Attitude on top because of the first thing you just said. I think 1.25 miles is definitely right up her alley. It's the best name since Good Magic. You know, I love horses they name after Magic. So I'm super stoked that Magic Attitude is named after Curtis. So that's great. But in all seriousness, the main number one reason I picked Magic Attitude to win the race, I don't really think any of these horses in here are all that good. So if she's any good at all, she should be able to win the race. And that's just kind of a shitty way to say, I think this race kind of sucks. And this European shipper, if she comes over here and is close to the real deal, should be able to get a victory here. So Magic Attitude, I'm expecting big things from this horse. I'm expecting the horse to get a good solid trip, kind of stalking the pace in this short 5-horse field. And hopefully when the 1.25 miles kind of hits some of these horses square in the face, this horse will just keep running.
Yeah, dude. This one's pretty interesting because she's a Galileo filly, and she's a full sister to Mission Impassable, who came over here and finished second to Rushing Fall. I think it was like a couple years ago, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously a very nicely bred horse, a horse that looked good overseas and ran 2 Group 1 races over there and didn't embarrass herself whatsoever. So yeah, you got to think that, you know, against this field, you definitely shouldn't be too worried, right?
It's got to be the easiest field she's faced, right?
It has to, but here's the thing, and I think this is why I'm not picking her. It's because I've been burned by, frankly, a couple in here. You know, Nage Blanche, a horse that I really liked in the Del Mar Oaks. Just, you know, it was kind of a similar thing where it's just, you know, the first start since first start in the US. And finishes 4th, and then Antoinette, a horse that I didn't pick, but was in that Saratoga Oaks. I can't remember the name of that horse who I picked, but I think it was another international horse coming in, and just was awful. And so it's like I just feel like I get these wrong when I have this horse coming overseas. So I thought Antoinette looked really good at the Saratoga Oaks. I think she is obviously can handle the distance. We've seen that. To me, she's the best horse in this race that we know of, yep. Right?
No doubt.
So I think I'm just going to stick with what I know. She's been working out well. She did a blowout last time out. So I think I think this race might be a tad tougher than the Saratoga Oaks, just in general, because because I think that horse that you're picking might be better than what she's faced last time out. But I mean, come on, it's not that much better. So honestly, the way I vision this race, she's speed. She just goes out to the front and she just wires the field. Like, they just aren't very good and they can't close. So I'm on number 5, Antoinette.
Learned a lesson. Ever play with my ring, my wedding ring. Fell right off.
I thought you dropped something.
Yeah, well, I did.
I thought it was like something huge, though.
No. Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess COVID has messed with the purses, but you're right. It seems like handles there, so I don't know. And some places the purses haven't went down at all. And I know earlier in the year when they missed like part of their meet, they had to cut purses, but it seems like they'd be back to normal here with a full regular meet getting ready to get kicked off at Belmont. So
just using it as an excuse to hold those purses and keep the handle coming in.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. Right?
Yeah, no.
There's been wilder theories out there for sure.
Was that Chubb or Hunt that went in?
Chubb. Yeah, great drive for the Browns. I mean, I don't really care if the Browns were playing a high school team, just to get some positive energy and momentum is huge. So it was a big drive.
Yeah, it was they looked good there. I mean, they just pretty just like methodically went down the field there. So
yeah, ran the ball well. Baker threw it well. I thought the play calling was good.
The question becomes: does Odell have a catch in this game? Because I am a huge sucker for him, and I always draft him. Even this year, he was like way late in the draft because for good reason. But I'm a sucker for him.
He's just a mystery. I can't explain it.
And you see those that they popped them up on the screen. They had like the percentages since he's arrived. Baker's numbers are down, and it's like, how does that make any sense?
It doesn't. I don't know. Baker looked great as a rookie. He looked extremely average last year, and that's supposed to be the opposite when you have a receiver like Odell. But they just, and I don't get. They just never seem to get him the ball. And I know you're like, well, Baker's got to throw it to him, but to me, if you got a guy like Odell, you call some plays where it's like you're throwing him the ball. Period. You're getting it to him. Like something. Do anything.
I know. I mean, and I think for a while there was times that last year, not to get into the Baker show here, but that they really struggled on trying to force feed Odell.
Yeah. And
that caused a lot of issues and turnovers and things of that nature. And, frankly, it became very easy for defenses to know that that's what they were going to do. So it's kind of how do you kind of, my thing is like if Eli Manning can make Odell a superstar,
I don't know.
Can anybody? Baker sure as hell should.
I don't know the answer.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't either.
At all.
I don't either. You're asking the wrong guy.
Makes no sense. But anyways.
No.
All right. Let's go to the summer on Sunday.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. All right, let's move to Sunday and let's go back to Woodbine. Race 7, the Summer Stakes, grade 1 or 250K. For 2-year-olds going 1 mile on the turf, and it's a Breeders' Cup winning your event. Both of these are for the juvenile turf. A really important race every year. Both these are. Field of 7 lines up for this one. We don't have the odds out quite yet, but still, it's just these are always fun races to watch and see on paper, especially because you get to see kind of these well-bred horses who are very lightly raced and obviously entering grade 1 competition here. Download, Secret Potion, Ready to Repeat, Gretzky the Great, American Monarch, Heat of the Night, and Dolder Grand. Nice little field here. What do you think?
I think this is a very good field, like you just said. And boy, you want to talk about great names. Here's another one, Gretzky the Great. I mean, that hits me right between the eyes. I love Gretzky the Great. I loved Wayne Gretzky. So I'm going to go with Gretzky the Great on top, not because of the name. Let me explain why now. This horse has looked very, very good at Woodbine. 2 wins in a row. I thought last time out really looked impressive. And I honestly think a mile might help this horse a little bit. I could kind of see him with a little bit slower pace up front, really stretch out nicely here to this mile distance. I think Mark Cassie's going to have a pretty big weekend there at Woodbine. Let's hope. I picked March to the Arch. Now I'm going with Gretzky the Great. I think this horse is up and coming. I think he's got more to give than what we've seen so far. So I'm going to go Gretzky the Great on top.
This field is awesome. And let me just go through a few. Let me just go through a few of these horses just and kind of give a little bit of info on these. So obviously you have the Chad Brown. These are just ones that stood out to me. Chad Brown, who lost on debut at Saratoga, going to mile 16th, cuts back here. But you have Peter Brandt that owned. You've got is an Into Mischief, $470,000 purchase, and obviously same connections as Fog of War that came in and won this race. So you have Gretzky the Great. Gretzky the Great. You mentioned a Nyquist horse, which is funny for Mark Cassie again. Very well-bred horse and obviously going to be tough here. American Monarch, American Pharaoh horse. So that for Belmont, was really impressive at Saratoga. beat Secret Potion, who I just mentioned a second ago. But obviously, any American Pharoah 2-year-old is exciting to watch. And then the one big one here for me, obviously, Heat of the Night, a summer front should like the turf did on debut at Gulfstream Park. Dolder Grand was a horse that I was very intrigued with. Horse was bet really hard on debut. It was an $800,000 purchase from Mark Cassie. Ran at Woodbine on debut, finished third. Just, didn't necessarily start the greatest and just kind of didn't have a huge burst going down the lane, which is ultimately the reason why I didn't pick him. But you have to think, and we know this very well with 2-year-olds, that the second start can obviously sometimes be completely different than the first start. And a horse that was purchased for $800,000 and was bet down to like 7-5 or 8-5 on debut, you would have to think this horse is bound to run a little bit better this time out. And so to me, Dolder Grand was a horse that I seriously considered here. But ultimately I picked Secret Potion. Chad Brown, it's hard to go against that. You're going to roll with the Mark Cassie connection on these turf races at Woodbine. I'm rolling with the Chad Brown. Both can work out very well. Secret Potion, I thought looked really good on debut. Just American Monarch looked better, ran him down. But, he did all the dirty work on the front end. Didn't go necessarily fast that day, but a horse, first time out. I think it kind of seemed like, too, the horse got a little lazy. And then once the horse got up next to him, it kind of like, oh, wait, I need to go. And it was a little too late. Going to mile 16, cutting back to the mile. But listen, Chad Brown's percentages are just insane. Maiden, meaning he hasn't won, second start, 35%. First time Lasix, 14%. He's extremely good off this kind of layoff at almost 30%. Just the percentages are all there for Secret Potion. I definitely feel like he's going to be very tough to beat here. So I think he's going to turn the tables on American Monarch, and I think he's going to win this race for Chad Brown.
Just real quick, I am so agreeing that American Monarch, Secret Potion are the next two very interesting ones in this race, because I thought that was a really good maiden race. And it's very important to point out that maiden race was at Saratoga on Travers Day. And that's when you debut your big horses on those big races. So I'm super interested in those two coming back as well. I think those two have got a big shot to make a big impact here.
All right.
I was going to wait and just do it. I thought, no, I'll put that on the pod.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Yeah, he's a good-looking horse, too. I don't know if you looked at him closely. He looks nice.
Yeah, I remember watching that race. Like, say, it was Travers Day, and I needed the brown horse bad. So, but, it's like, well, you left off American Pharoah, like a son of American Pharoah on the turf. So is it really anybody's fault but your own? No, sure not.
Well, he was like 6 or 7 to 1.
Yeah, he was 7 to 1. 7 to 1.
That's brutal.
And it was one of those special weights where there was a lot of big time horses, and so you got to leave off somebody. So.
All right, I do think we have. Oh wow! Oh man. There's the Bengals we love. Okay, so I think we have some green on this one. So
on this one, before we start the pod, people that are watching, we've either identified a pretty good horse or we are getting way too cute with this race.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because we did not. There you go. Horse that finished behind American Monarch and Secret Potion won a sloppy stakes Saratoga next out.
Magic?
See, Magic is awesome on these pods because he always got like the tidbits like that, or hey, that horse is scratching, or hey, that horse is going to run another race. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for keeping us honest.
Yeah, it is great. It would be even better if he texted me before the show and said that kind of stuff. But
well, he's doing the Magic Mike before, and
that's true.
He doesn't give a shit until he gets on here.
You hit it right in the head, right there. He doesn't
care. Let's see. I think because we did not plan to pick this horse and together, obviously, and I thought I was getting a little cute with it, so I guess we're both just cute. All right.
First time ever anybody said that.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, and finally, race 9, the Thomas Stakes, grade 1, 250K for 2-year-old fillies going 1 mile on a turf field of 7. Lines up for this Breeders' Cup Win Your In race is for the Juvenile Fillies Turf. Again, another very important race on the road to the Breeders' Cup. Field of 7, like I said, Stunning Princess, Seasons, Sleek Links for Cassie, Dreaming of Drew, Alda for Motion. You got Ladies Spite Spear for Atfield, and big plans for Gonzalez. But, again, this is one of those that you have a lot of potential with some of these horses, and you look at a horse like Alda, who's coming in off of that stakes win at Woodbine last time out, Grand Motion. We know what he can do on the turf. I mean, is this the horse to pick here?
No, it's not. Well, hopefully it's not. All right, so here we go. We got a little tricky with this one, right? I went and spoiler alert, we picked the same horse. I went number 3, Sleek Links on top. So let's see if our reasonings are the same, right? So $335,000 purchase. That's good. Warfront filly. That's good. Mark Cassie, Gary Barber. Great combination. This horse was bet like a very good horse on debut.
Pounded.
Yeah, at Gulfstream, July 23rd. And was just kind of green. That's really the only thing to say. He took the lead. She looked like she was going to be a winner and just kind of idled, I think, in the stretch a little bit. Got second, only got beat a half. Just was kind of a goofy acting horse. Look at the workout pattern since then. They shipped the horse right to Woodbine after that. She's had some serious works. She looks like she's, they're really working on her. They're really trying to get her, a little more focused. Comes right back after losing a maiden special weight on debut at Gulfstream. Not like it's at Saratoga where you're facing probably 4 or 5 stakes horses. At Gulfstream in July, not that great of a maiden special weight, most likely. And goes right to a grade 1 off of it. That's a very good sign to me. There's a lot of races this horse could run. And oh, by the way, they run maiden special weights for $123,000 at Woodbine. So it's not like it's a small purse that this horse would have ran in if you're going with a maiden special weight. So to run her here, I think Mark Cassie's got big plans for this horse. I think she's going to run a big race. I went number 3, Sleek Links, to win this one.
Dude, I know. I'm with you. You pretty much said everything I thought about this horse, this race. I just think, obviously it was bet like her purchase price was, frankly. And, he just kind of was 4 wide and just had some issues and just bumped, and, it just wasn't a very clean race for her. But the big thing for me was that you're sitting here and, she could, like you say, that was on a maiden. So she's running this race as a maiden. And it's similar to what the Chad Brown horse is doing that I picked Secret Push in the last race. And you could have ran her anywhere, and here she is. So obviously Cassie's wanted to run her here, and nothing's changed that. I'm a big believer in these 2-year-olds really rebounding off of that have some sort of potential, on debut, rebounding into something really nice second start. Like, I think sometimes it can be an illusion on some, when you see these horses that maybe had a ton of hype and then they just kind of run okay, and then you're like, well, they're not very good. Well, wait for the second start. And the fact that Cassie's running her here says a lot about what he thinks about her. She's obviously, like, at that purchase price, she's impeccably bred, and she is. It's a daughter of Warfront. So she, we know the turf is her thing. And, you kind of has that feel to me, just to be honest, like kind of has that feel that as a horse that we'll hear from down the road a lot. Gary Barber owns, so you got those similar, similar connections that we know, and obviously very, very well bred as well. So that's my boy. Woo! Woo! Odell. There he is, Odell. Okay, there you go.
Notice again, outside the pocket, you gotta get him on the move. A perfect pass.
That was beautiful.
Yep,
that was beautiful. All right, that's gonna have to stay because that was right in the middle of my my spiel there. But yeah, so there you go. I think also you have to look at just the fact that I'm not necessarily too scared of many of these in this race.
That's just it. Yeah. The race before, I thought we had some real runners. This race, it's like, yeah, I could try to take a maiden, So yeah, I'm with you. Let's see what happens. I don't know that these 2-year-olds here are going to win a Breeders' Cup race. I think the Colts may be a little stronger, but we'll see. I mean, the 2-year-old races can definitely surprise you. So this is gonna be a good race.
All right, you and I are both on. Take a little bit of flyer here. Number 3, Sleek Links.
Oh, he may not score, Jared.
No, he's in.
Oh, he's in? Okay.
Oh, he might not be. Where is the knee down or the leg down?
He's not in. They're at the 1.
Son of a bitch. Of course.
Hey, that's a great sign, though. They finally got him open on a deep ball. I mean,
no, it's not a great sign because that'll be the only catch he has the rest of the game. I guarantee you.
Well, what are you going to do? Nick Chubb needs to score. I got him. So
shit. No wonder you're not upset.
Well, I'm upset because anytime the Browns are on the 1-yard line, that usually means it's going to end in a field goal. So
that's a bummer. I think they should give it back to him. Hand it off.
Hand it off to him, yeah.
All right. 3. What did Magic Mike do? You guys did the late pick 4 at Woodbine, right?
Yep, I did.
3, 2, 1. That's all the time we have. Check out racingdudes.com for free picks on our premium selections on our Hangout products page. Click the products link at main menu at racingdudes.com to learn more. We're currently covering 30-plus tracks, all from free picks. We're on Twitter at RacingDudes, Instagram and Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, even the website at racingdudes.com. Make sure to go check out the Magic Mike show. They did the late pick 4 at Woodbine as well on Saturday. So if you want some more analysis of that Woodbine Mile as well as the rest of that sequence, go check them out. The Magic Mike show on all those same platforms. All right. Turns out that was not a touchdown. I'm not happy about that. He caught it, but his knee was down like at the 1-inch yard line. So that's awesome. That'll be his final catch of the game, his only catch of the game. So, but no, looks like the Browns are getting ready to score again. What else? Some big updates coming to the site. Nothing to, we're down the road. We're probably later very end of this year. We're doing it seriously this time, and we got some very big updates. So if you're a subscriber, if you're a premium subscriber, you're going to love what we've got coming your way. And Magic, if you're still tuning in, you're going to love how easy it is for you. So
yes, yeah, big time. Like I said, probably December. We're working on it now, so it's going to be nice. You're not going to recognize the site in a good way. So.
Yeah. And I think all around, I don't really want to spoil it. So yeah, just keep your eyes out for that. In the next couple of months, we'll be testing it out, and final release later on in the year. All right. I think your Browns. The way they're moving the ball, I think the Browns are going to win.
Yeah, I feel good about the Browns. They look good. It's I never really had an NFL team. I've always I watch the NFL religiously, but I just never grew up with a team. I'm an OU fan. They gave it to him.
They gave him the touchdown. I'll be damned.
Wow. But I was going to say, Browns, I adopted the Browns when they drafted Baker, and I've adopted the Arizona Cardinals when they drafted Kyler Murray. So that was a big win for Arizona to beat San Francisco at San Francisco. So I'm pumped for both my teams.
I'm a fan of Kyler, and I think he's the real deal. And he finally got himself. Not to say that Larry Fitz isn't a weapon, but he got himself a weapon like Hopkins, and I think just another year under his belt, both for him and the coach. I mean, they're gonna be dangerous on the NFC side, no doubt. Our Cowboys pick did not do well. Of course, in typical Cowboys fashion, they lost a game they should have won. I don't know. I mean, our Chiefs side looks fine. I don't know about the Cowboys.
Week 3, Chiefs, Ravens, Monday Night Football. That's going to be a game. I think those two. I've already
been talking to Ricky about that. So, because he's a Baltimore fan.
Yeah. And
I'll tell you the kind of guy Ricky is. He texts me like the night of the Chiefs game. He's like, "Hey man, just wish you luck tonight. It's glad to have football back, and I love watching Mahomes." And it's like, yeah, that's a good comment. It's like, but of course mine's like, we're gonna beat your ass week 3, dude. So, but no, that'll be you had two of the young talents, obviously with Deshaun and sure. Mahomes, and now you've got the kind of like the new, I guess Brady Brady Manning thing, hopefully for the next 10 years with Lamar and Mahomes. So that seems like it definitely seems the way these two teams are when they play in the regular season, that's a preview to what we're going to see in the playoffs. Yep. I feel like that's going to be something we're going to see more times than not. So can't wait. It's cool to have that early in the season too, when both teams are hopefully very healthy as well. So can't wait for that. But just glad to have football back, of course, and I'm glad that Odell's touchdown counted. I don't know what a touchdown is anymore. I'll be real honest, because I'm watching it on my phone. But I mean, it's clear and it's muted, so I can't, I guess, hear what they're saying. But I don't know any way possible that was a touchdown.
I had this is not a lie. 5 people text me, so I can't believe they gave that to him. So nobody knows what a touchdown is. Nobody thought that was either. So
maybe the ball was still sort of bobbling until he rolled into. I don't know. But
I don't either.
I don't care. It's happy it happened.
Me neither. I'll take any touchdown I can get. So. All
right, everyone. Good luck this weekend at Woodbine. Obviously, Preakness, we'll have a lot of Preakness chatter next week as we get closer. The guide will be out for pre-sale on next week as well. So check that out. And of course, from there, it's just all hands on deck for the Breeders' Cup build-up. Cannot wait. No fans with the Breeders' Cup this year, unfortunately, it sounds like, but we're hoping that the dudes at least are allowed to be there. We're hoping. If we are, then you better believe we are going to light that place up.
This is true.
We are going to blow the fucking lid off that place. So if they allow us there, watch out. All right, I'm Jared Welch. What?
Well, I was going to say, there goes our chance to get invited.
Hopefully they don't listen.
Well, they don't. That's true.
I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Alterman. Good luck this weekend.
That's funny.
Yeah, there goes our press pass.
Yeah, I know. Anybody? Here's a question I was going to ask. Anybody got any questions? We're off the podcast, but we can stay for a second. I'm sorry, Jared. Is it a good call that Tom Zitat will not race any more preps going into the Classic? No, I don't love that, but it's 2020 and that seems to be what they do nowadays. But I don't love that at all.
Here's the thing. And I think, not that we haven't seen like 1,000 examples of this over time, over the last several years even. But look at King Guillermo. Look at that horse. A horse that was perfectly fine to run the months of April, May, June, and July, I guess. Mm-hmm. And in August, frankly, but I'll just say July because it's reasonable to have a buildup to the Derby. Yeah. The horse doesn't run. And look where he's at. He had to miss the Derby. I mean, again, it's unforeseen circumstances, but that's horse racing. Yeah. When they're good, run them.
Yeah. They can get hurt very easily on their own without having to run, or without running in a race. So yeah, you gotta run them when they're good. Exactly. How good would have King Guillermo looked in some of these prep races? Do you think King Guillermo would have caught Authentic in the Haskell? I do.
He very well may have, yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't know, you could always argue hey, maybe that keeping them running and moving and going might keep them healthier, than doing nothing and just working out every once in a while. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always hated that decision when coaches do that, when trainers do that. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say when you see Tom Zitat, you're like, that's going to piss you off, right? Because you're leading up to the Classic, and you get to the Classic, you're going to sit there and say, what do I do with Tom?
Yeah. Here, let's go to this one.
Oh. We both wanted to click that one so bad.
Thoughts on AP retiring, Honor AP retiring. I could not care less that he retired.
The only thing that we're pissed about is the stall that horse got.
They put him in. Oh, I know.
AP Indy. That's just ridiculous. I mean, that's an iconic stall. You put that damn horse in there. Hey, look at this. This is funny. See, I knew that horse was impressive. I think that horse. Dolder Grant. I'm glad I mentioned that horse on the pod a lot. I almost picked him, to be honest, because I just the way that horse was hyped on debut. We'll see, but War of Will might be a horse that goes on the Triple Crown Trail. So we'll see. Honor AP is just. I mean, is there? Let's be honest, guys. And again, I know the horse is fine. He's healthy.
Well,
I
don't think he can run.
He survived. He's alive. I mean, he's not any doubt there.
No.
Is there a more overrated horse, especially of 2020? But I mean, this horse has ran one good race of his life, and it's like he's just went into. And thank goodness, it might be a good thing he retired because I feel like he would just burn so much money all these years. He's a Catalina Cruiser of 2020.
Paul made that comparison, and it's a very good comparison.
Woo!
But at the same time, Catalina Cruiser won a lot of races.
No, I mean,
this horse didn't. So, good call. I don't think it's a good call. No.
I personally, again, let's go back to the talk of horses running, like taking time off when they shouldn't. Well, I don't like when a trainer is like, we're not running there, and then we are going to run there, and then we're not going to do that. We will do that. And it's like when a trainer doesn't have his mind made up or is dictating where to run based off other horses running. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, to me, if she's doing good, you want to run her, just run her in the Black Eyed Susan. You're probably going to win it, and you're going to be feeling much better about yourself than third or fourth.
Dude, Bryson, yeah. I feel you, man.
I know.
We talk about here, we brag a lot about, some of our biggest bets of our lives were win bets on Pharaoh in the Derby and Justify in the Belmont, and in the Derby, frankly, as well. But another very, very big bet of our lives was Catalina Cruiser in the Breeders' Cup. And that was one of those, they exited the gate and you're like, well, there you go. That's done. So I actually had a pretty good Breeders' Cup that weekend, other than that. So that was rough.
Funny. That was the funniest. That was probably the funniest moment of the Breeders' Cup for me. You looked at me and you go right out of the gate. He's like, he's just fucking around. Like, yeah, he's not going to run, dude.
Yeah. You knew the instant that they broke. There was no doubt that you were just done. And then I think it hurt too, the fact that City of Light, not only did he win, but then he turns out to be what he was, and he's obviously very, very good. So you kind of feel like Wynn really, really whiffed on that race.
The good news, Magic said something about he was gonna pick City of Light until he saw Catalina Cruiser in the paddock. The good news about City of Light is the whole team picked him to win the Pegasus, and he did. So we did at least cash on him, even though we missed him on Breeders' Cup. So that's the silver lining to City of Light.
Yeah, we rebounded a little bit with that.
Yeah, but Catalina Cruiser, oh boy. That was a disaster. That was a total disaster. And then the next year, he was getting steam to win. I think he was in the sprint the next year, the Breeders' Cup. I'm like, no, I'm not going down that road again. Not even a chance. Storm the court running the Breeders' Cup in which race for the heck of it would he run in? I don't know. I hope not. Maybe the mile, Breeders' Cup mile. I don't know. Hopefully nothing.
Anybody else got any? I think that as we're getting obviously a little bit closer now, I just feel like these races. We've been saying that all year how excited these Breeders' Cup races will be, and it just seems like for the most part we're going to stay. That's going to be that's going to come true. I think you mix in a little bit of national flavor, like some of these good horses coming in from overseas, and you're going to have a really nice 2 days of racing. Of course, you got some nice juveniles we've been talking about a little bit. That are kind of starting to get some steam as well. And then I think, with the Classic kind of shaping up to be a really nice race. And of course, the Distaff, it should be awesome with Monomoy Girl and Bizou and, whatever, I guess, if Gamine or Swiss Guide ever go that direction. But you have some names, and I think that is going to make a lot of intrigue going into and lots of, we have a lot to come too. We still have some big time final preps, for possibly can Sister Charlie kind of get back to, or Uni or some of these horses that we're used to seeing.
It's Camine. I like that.
Scamming. I don't know why I wouldn't. I mean, I get that, like Halterman has kind of said that there's reason to think maybe she's obviously better than what we saw in the Oaks, but still, I mean, she's freaky good in these one-turn races.
Yeah, and I mean that's the easiest race to try her in is keep her sprinting, but I do think she can stretch out again. I just think she ran a poor race. But I wouldn't completely shut the door on her. But for this year, they probably should just stick to the one-turn races. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the good thing about Gamine is you've got Bob Baffert making the call, and it's not going to be the wrong one, So he'll put her in the right race.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, I think you have. I think that's going to be important to know whatever race she shows up next, just based off of the high hopes he had for her, the high, the kind of how many times he mentioned her after the fact, like where she goes next, you have to think when and where that's the spot, and she'll be ready, because he doesn't want to get her embarrassed again. You just know. I mean,
right.
Other than an issue with her, I think you got to feel pretty confident wherever she goes next that she's going to be tough.
I agree. I totally agree. She's an interesting one. She also is kind of, to me, a candidate that might get hurt and never run again. She just kind of seems like that kind of horse too. So we'll see what happens. Here we go. Here's a good question. Last question: if the dudes come to Lexington for the Breeders' Cup, what's our drinks at McCarthy's? What's our drinks? Well, we are in Lexington, or we are in Kentucky, so probably bourbon, right? A little Woodford.
Yeah, I'd take some Woodford. Woodford and anything, but Woodford and Sprite is pretty good for me. But I'll take anything. Are you buying, Bryson? If you're buying, then
then we're getting like Jefferson's. We're getting the expensive stuff.
Yeah, that changes everything.
Yeah,
I'll get the old Paul special where we just get the Jefferson's on the rocks or whatever, and just sit there and sip on it.
That sounds good to me.
I hope we're there, dude. I really do. I'm optimistic about it, but we'll see. I've been optimistic all year, and it hasn't really happened. So I don't know.
50-50. That's what I say every time. 50-50.
Seems like the one thing for us that helps us is that we do a lot of work for the Breeders' Cup directly. We do a lot of writing. Obviously, Magic does a lot of writing. Halter does the writing for them directly. We work with them directly for the preps, and then obviously for the actual Breeders' Cup races. So my hope is that if limited press is even allowed, that we are one of the limited.
Right.
The Kentucky Derby, we didn't make the cut. We got emailed saying, we'll see you next year. But I feel like the Breeders' Cup, we got a pretty good shot.
Should we just say then, fine, we're not writing for you? Should we go to threats?
We'll let Magic make that threat. So
okay, yeah, sounds good to me. That's the great thing about having Magic aboard. We just blame him.
Yeah, Magic's the perfect scapegoat.
Yeah, we'll say, hey, email the Breeders' Cup and tell them you're not doing anything, and then they'll email us and we'll go, I don't know what we're talking. I told him to write it. So,
yeah,
it's great.
It's like, hey, I told them to do that. I don't know what they're doing, so right. I'll talk to them. They're idiots. They don't listen.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we will be back. I don't know if we'll be on Saturday. I doubt we will be.
Let's see. What's going on Saturday?
Just the Woodbine Mile. And then Sunday we'll have football. So I'm going to guess no this weekend, but you might see us. If not, we'll be on next week. And, of course, Preakness will take over. I think as the buildup gets closer to the Breeders' Cup, we're going to be doing a lot of live stuff, a lot of extra content. Obviously, hopefully we're there so we can do live stuff while we're there as well. So stay tuned for that, obviously. And of course, as soon as the Preakness Guide's over, the work really the work really gets going on the Breeders' Cup. So that is going to be – the Breeders' Cup Guide is always amazing, but like, for instance, last year, I remember was it last year? I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. Like, I didn't sleep for like 48 hours leading up to the trip because the guide is the simple answer.
Yep.
So yeah.
It'll be just like that again, no doubt.
Yeah, that's you gotta in racing it's weird because we don't know stuff until we know stuff, and then we know stuff, we got to get it done. And so you kind of have the lead up, but you don't know who's going to run a race until a couple days, and then you got to get going. So Magic knows what that's about. So
yep, he does.
Magic, it's part of the gig, right? So you knew what you signed up for.
That's why we hired you. Yeah.
Keep in mind, you worked for free for us for a while, so
yeah, that's true.
At least you get paid now.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, you can feed yourself, so that's good.
Yeah, anything we can do to help.
Right. Yeah.
All right. We will. Good luck to everybody. If you've got any action on this game tonight, I hope you don't. But if you do, good luck.
Good game so far, though. Really.
Yeah, it should be a good game.
Yeah.
Two mediocre teams, but two offensives that have some ability. So it makes it fun for scoring. And two defenses that aren't really great. So
right.
All right, everyone, stay safe, and we will see you next week.